Asheville, and we want to give you a recap of the 3-day event.
Yeah.
It was super fun, and where to begin?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great, I think, just a great introduction to, first of all, Asheville, and just, I mean, I think, first of all, just a huge thank you to the Haute route and the town of Asheville for, welcoming in this huge gaggle of, spandex-clad lycra dorks. But yeah, we had a little bit of a travel logistical issue, and it was just kind of a long travel. I mean, obviously flying over with 2 bikes from Colorado to Asheville.
How's the bike building coming along, Frank?
Really good.
How are your disc rotors?
No comment.
My bike's looking pretty good.
But we figured it all out and then kind of hit the ground running with the podcast. What that looks like. So for those of you on video, we got the...
This is from the Rider Handbook. They pass this out to you when you go through.
Hope you guys all enjoyed that. And then, we kind of can jump straight into, I think we want to recap sort of the 3 days event, kind of go through our experience of what, it was like in terms of the courses and the time segments and kind of the efforts and intensity. And so maybe you want to start off with the first day.
Yeah, so we talked about in the podcast how the Elk Mountain first time segment was going to be a 20-minute field test, and boy, it sure was, and then some, because my time at 4.5 watts per kilogram was only good for about 25th overall, and it actually took me, I think, 24 minutes and change compared to the winner that did about 2 minutes faster than me. So right off the bat, full gas, 20-minute effort, and then that was only in the first hour. So then we did the gravel climb after that, which is about, I forgot what it was in terms of minutes, but that was pretty hard. And we did a really fun descent off the gravel, but it was a little bit wet, and I think everyone took it nice and cautious. And then we did the Rooster Tail rain section in a group at 30 miles an hour. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think I had my glasses off most of the day. It was like, because it was pouring rain for most of the day, and it was like we're in the forest, so it's pretty dark. The thing about how the Haute route works is that these time segments kind of are built up and throughout the course of the day, and that goes into your overall time. And so I lost a lot of time for the overall on the Blue Ridge Parkway section, which was kind of the next main section. So we do those 2 climbs, we drop down, have some aid station refreshments, and then basically we went up this like steep switchback through a tunnel onto the Blue Ridge Parkway. I
had already accumulated about 300 TSS by there. That's like a solid 5-hour day, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'll just guess how they were feeling. Everyone did not act or feel like they were interested in going hard at that point. So everyone kind of took off very slowly. The front group formed, and it wasn't like people were getting dropped from it. A lot of people were like, yeah, just go ahead. Yeah. And that was me. And then my group wasn't riding fast enough, so I kind of I got into my diesel mode. You were in that mode too. Yeah. And a lot of people just kind of wanted to get it over with. Right. And
it was a long climb.
It was long. 30 kilometers. I was with a local, and he was like, just 10 more miles. Yeah. And then I looked down at our average speed, and it was 10 miles an hour. Yeah.
So that was a long climb, but it was beautiful. I mean, riding on the Blue Ridge Parkway was stunning. It was amazing views, really cool climb, and just it was like kind of foggy and misty, and then there was just this sweet descent, dropping back down to the last aid station, sweeping turns.
It was so
pedaling. Yeah, so that was kind of the end of the first day. I mean, we kind of went through another time segment and then a little short aid station, and then I was wrecked.
Wrecked.
Dropped from the front group. Definitely didn't do enough sweet spotting this winter.
That was like the longest, hardest ride I've done in a long time.
419 TSS.
Yeah. How was that? We're done.
So at one point in the race, event, everything's sopping wet. Now everything is a crusty crust. 410, 419 TSS.
Damn.
I made like a deal with the devil with myself.
Yeah.
30K climb.
And so, I mean, we were done luckily early enough in the day, so we went back, had some food, massage, and just kind of like, I think I took a nap.
Yeah, we napped.
It was just full-on recovery mode because we had to basically do it again the next day. A little bit less climbing, a little bit shorter day. But day 2 was, I think, still pretty hard because it was a lot more short but punchy climbs kind of scattered throughout. I mean, the profile of the day, maybe I'll put that up in the video, but it's like a sharp tooth basically, you know. It's like, you know, there's this famous climb called Crabtree Gap that we went over.
25%.
Yeah, that was just insane. It was like really steep.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the front group, which I found myself in stupidly, was just smashing it. And,
yeah. The last 500 meters took me about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Like it just went on forever, even though it was, you know, fairly short. And so there was a bunch of those.
We rode through the Biltmore though.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. That's the highlight.
The first hour of the ride was this really nice neutral roll through the Biltmore estate and
biggest house privately owned property in the US, I think.
It was ginormous. It was very impressive to ride through the grounds because there was what, 9,000 acres, and when we turned onto the property, we rode for 20 minutes till we got to the house. That's how big it was. And we did a lap around the front of it and just saw the size and stature. That was super cool. That was a great warm up. I was not interested in getting, you know, going hard.
It went on for a little bit long.
Everyone had to use the bathroom.
Yeah, everyone had to pee pretty bad.
And you couldn't use the bathroom there because that was frowned upon.
Yeah, of course. And so then, there was this one really cool section I remember where I think we went up over Crabtree, and then there was this really cool flowy descent.
Yeah.
And then you hit another climb, and this was all part of the time segment, so it was like an up, down, up kind of thing.
That's right.
And just, I mean, the roads out there were just pristine, beautiful, super green, you know, where you're rolling through these, you know, farm country roads. And it was funny for me, I was in the front group for most of the day, and, you know, everyone was, the top like 3 or 4 riders overall were kind of really close to each other, so they would like right before the time segment start, they would all like sit up, make sure that everyone's together and like almost track stand. And I was like, I'm like 30 minutes down because of the previous day, so I was like kind of getting annoyed a little bit, but
so there was a little bit of gaming the time segments.
But on that last time segment, there was this really cool time segment that I thought it was probably my favorite time section of the whole event.
Oh yeah.
Where it was like, it felt like a Belgian kermesse because it was like really tight turns, up and down, steep little like punchers, but like, you know, it was really technical. And I found myself, before we even hit the time segment, like 200 meters off the front, just randomly, because everyone else was sitting up, and I was just like, I just want to like pedal my bike actually. And so I went off the front and just decided to go hard by myself. A Novo Nordisk kid bridged up to me, and we just ripped that thing super fast. Eventually we did get caught by the leaders as they were racing each other, but I thought that was a really cool way to finish the day.
That was a cool segment. And then we had like a nice 10-mile flat, just kind of spin out back into Asheville.
And it was hot. It was a hot day. I mean, I'm, you know, speaking for myself, it was definitely like one of the hottest rides I've had all year. And so it was a little bit of a shock to the system, considering, I mean, we're back here, you can tell by my attire, it's pouring rain and cold, and so it's been a rough winter and spring here, but we it was a great way to get a little training camp in. I mean, it was a big weekend.
Yeah. The climbs that we did, speaking of the heat, were a lot of times they were shady. We're not used to riding in the shade out here in Colorado, so you'd be doing this climb and the temperature was hot, yet you're riding in a wooded area, and the trees were over the road, and it was nice and shady. So that was a welcome relief. You were like, I mean, I felt like I was in you know that movie Cold Mountain?
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Yeah.
That's where we rode. Cold Mountain, Deliverance territory. What other movies? We were just in the Appalachians, and it was beautiful, and I want to go back and just train
for
there.
sure.
And just ride, do some rides.
Yeah, because I mean, some of those sections you're kind of like cross-eyed going up these climbs, and it's
like
hard.
the gravel. The gravel was woodsy, great climb, not too steep, not as steep as the Crusher, and it was shaded the whole time. Yeah.
And then the last day, I mean, again, same thing, kind of the same boring, kind of like stage race style afternoon of like nap time, eating as much food as we can, massage.
Yep.
And then the next day was a TT to finish off the weekend, Uptown Mountain, which is just this really cool, twisty climb right above Asheville.
Right outside. Yeah.
And it connects into the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Correct. We came down it on stage 1, and then we went back up it on stage 2. And the first 5 kilometers were pretty steep. I can't remember the average grade, but I'd say between 6 and 8%. And then it crests out, levels out. You actually get a teeny bit of downhill. That's where Coach Jake said to put it in the big ring and hammer it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a 2-part time trial. The 8% and then the flatter section after that. And that was a cool road. I didn't feel like going too hard by then. I was pretty smashed by Sunday morning. I was smashed by Saturday afternoon, completely wrecked. And you're just like so physically tired from, I think day 2 TSS was like 3:05. I was so tired from day 1, I couldn't even ride that hard on day 2.
Yeah.
So my watts were a lot lower. And maybe that's where you would make an argument for TSS not being as representative to fatigue, but I assure you I was tired.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the TT is TT. Obviously, you just go hard, and it was fun. And
going to that coffee shop and getting that coffee was the best warm up.
Yeah, exactly. We just rolled over to the coffee shop, got a little cappuccino. And then that was it. And then we, basically had to scramble to pack our bikes, stage 4 travel.
Yeah.
We had a super early flight the next day, but we got to experience Asheville a little bit, go to some breweries, get some good food, and walk around town. And
we went to the Burial and the Wicked Weed Brewery, and we hit the vegan restaurant Plant.
Yeah, it was good. Even the non-vegans enjoyed it.
It was very tasty. got the portobello.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's basically Haute Route Asheville in a nutshell. And definitely, like you said, I want to go back to Asheville. It's a beautiful place, and also a huge thank you to all of the fans of the podcast and the YouTube channel that came up to us, and we got to meet a lot of really cool people throughout the whole weekend.
That was probably the best part of it.
Yeah.
If I had to say what was the thing that I enjoyed the most. Other than some of those really cool descents. But it was everyone saying, hey, recognize y'all from the podcast. Yeah. And then talking about, it was funny in the buffet line. Yeah. Everyone was like, is this winning in the kitchen?
Yeah, exactly. So many winning in the kitchen comments.
Yeah.
And just, random strangers coming up to us and saying, hey, we really get a lot out of what you guys do. So
like that guy in the elevator, he's like, are you the podcast guy?
Yeah.
He asked me if I was the big cat.
Yeah. So I mean, minor celebrities, as Coach Jake says.
Thanks, Jake.
But yeah, so I mean, we appreciate that. It's really cool, and that's why we do this. It's to help you guys out, and we hope to continue doing that.
Yeah, good luck in the rest of your season, whatever you may do. I think the Haute Route San Francisco is next in September. Yep. There's a lot of the Haute Routers now are doing the Pyrenees and the Alps over in Europe. Those are the big boy, the 7-day events. But I do believe there's Mexico. There's San Francisco is coming up. So there's a lot of opportunities to experience the Haute Route left in 2019, and I hope to see all of you in Asheville in 2020.
Yeah, it'll be great. Thanks a lot. Peace.